everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day. It has been a minute since I've been on here. We had CrimeCon and so many other things kind of going on. So it's just been a minute. But as a lot of y'all know, last week JP Miller had popped onto my live. I was live with Robbie Harvey and the iPhone Guru, and the iPhone Guru went down to JP's house. So the iPhone Guru, just so y'all know, people who don't know who that is, or you're watching for the first time or whatever. That's his handle on TikTok. And if you walk out of the front door of his apartment, you can see JP's house. All right. It's right there. And so he's been great. But we've had a lot of stuff happen since then, is my point. JP has continued to message me. We've been in correspondence. And yeah, I'm going to talk to you about some of that stuff, including the arrest, or not the arrest, but the police presence at the church yesterday. The iPhone Guru is actually going to join us in a little bit, and we'll talk about that. I want to talk about the affidavit, as well as some of the recent things about him being seen in his neighborhood in a DeLorean, wearing his Spider-Man suit, things like that. But before I do, and before I get into the promotions, I do want to read a statement that I prepared, and I'm going to probably read this at least one other time during this live. Because one thing that has happened since I've been talking to JP, and for the record, I've also been talking to Micah's family, Sierra specifically, and that's what the statement's going to kind of address real quick. There's a lot of people who really don't see the impact or the benefit of corresponding with JP, and so let me read this, and then I'll talk about it real quick, and then we'll get to it, okay? So here's the statement that I prepared, which is, in journalism, it's crucial to maintain fairness, accuracy, and balance in reporting. This means it's important to make it a point to speak with all relevant parties where possible, including those individuals involved in the story who may be perceived negatively. Engaging with the subject of the investigation or the person of interest helps provide a comprehensive view of the situation. It ensures that our reporting is based on complete and accurate information, adds necessary context and nuance, and upholds our ethical responsibility to seek the truth. By doing so, we enhance the credibility of our work and ensure that the public receives a well-rounded understanding of complex issues. It is about being fair and just, giving everyone a chance to share their side of the story, and ensuring that the audience, which is you guys, is fully informed. Okay? So I'm saying this because, look, people like myself, Pascal, Abby Blabby, Recap with Julie, London's Notebook, we are doing digital journalism. This is not journalism the way that it's been traditionally done. I don't have a journalism degree. I don't have a background in journalism. I have a marketing degree, and I was in medical sales for a long time. However, I find myself in this situation, and so we try to be fair when we can. It has been no secret that I have biases about this case and which way those biases lean. However, if JP is willing to speak, willing to talk, then it is fair to give him a neutral platform where he can do that and not feel attacked. Because if you want him to say things and you want to hear what he has to say, then that's the way it has to be done. And if you don't want to hear what he has to say, that's fine too. Scroll on, move on. So that's the way this is done. It's not trying to suck up to anybody. I'm trying to think of the things that I've seen out there. It's not trying to be friends with anybody or placate anybody. It is wanting, JP or Sierra or whoever to feel comfortable in talking and knowing that they can do so in an environment that they're not going to be attacked. Because at the end of the day, this still centers around Mica. So I do want to say that because I think that it's all very important to do. Now, with that said, we got to get through the things that pay the bills real quick, right? Because that's important. So it's easy for them to understand. Doesn't vilify the person and then teaches them the importance of boundaries. So there you go. The next book I wrote is called Surprises Are Okay, Secrets Are Not. And these are both available on TikTok Shop or link in my bio, justinontiktok.com. Surprises Are Okay, Secrets Are Not. This book was born from the cases that I cover, unfortunately. This book is like for the Madeline Sotos and the Audrey Cunninghams and any of y'all who are listening here or on TikTok. Anybody who's been abused, who was told to keep that secret as a kid. That's what this book is about. It's designed to teach kids that, hey, you shouldn't be keeping secrets. Surprises are okay because they have an end date, and that adults especially should not be asking kids to keep a secret, and then comes with a Q&A at the end. Again, all of this stuff, including the podcast, available on justinontiktok.com, or the podcast is not available in the TikTok shop, but, The books are. The other thing is, if you are new here, I am trying to grow this channel. For those of y'all watching on TikTok and like, what are the name? It is Justin on TikTok is my YouTube name also. You can jump over and watch that if you want. But if you are here, you're new here, watching for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe is the same as a follow on YouTube. Would really appreciate it. If you are watching again for a different time, welcome back. Glad to have you. Now, without further ado, let's get into this stuff because we have a lot to talk about, and I know that y'all really want to hear about some of the new things that JP has said, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. In the meantime, what I want to first start off with is actually this. Okay? This was, is the affidavit, the complaint filed by Allison Miller against JP requesting full custody immediately, emergency custody. And I'm not going to read everything from it, obviously, but I did go through it. I did read it. I'm trying to get it pulled up here because when I'm trying to read it through the screen, it's a little bit harder to see. So give me a second to get it pulled up because I'm getting older and eyes, they don't work as well as they used to, and I was blind to begin with. We're going to talk about a few things. Okay, so a lot of y'all have probably seen this, heard about this. I wanted to kind of go through it, and when we're done, I'll try my best to get this on my Instagram for anybody who wants to read the document in its entirety. But basically, the first 4 pages of this document are reasons why, part of the reasons why, and what Allison is seeking as far as emergency custody. Okay, so let's go ahead to page 4. And we're going to go through it. And a few things to talk about with this. And by the way, real quick before I do this, this just dropped, like literally the reason that I was slightly late getting on is there is a voicemail that was attached from Mica to Allison, JP's ex-wife, that was attached to this complaint, and we're going to play it. If you're not watching on YouTube or listening to it on a podcast later, you're not going to hear it. If you're on TikTok watching, you're not going to hear it, but I will put it in a video on TikTok later, just so y'all are aware. But again, let's go through some of this, and we'll talk about that because this phone call is very. We'll say it's interesting, and I'll tell you why when we get to the end. Why she was in communication with them. So plaintiff alleges the number 15, starting there. We'll just scroll down. It's basically saying that defendant has exhibited increasingly unstable behaviors and has failed to provide a safe and stable environment for the minor children during his periods of visitation, and has both exposed and involved the minor children to incidents of domestic dispute and discord, which have been traumatic to the minor children and not in their best interest. Okay, that one's pretty self-explanatory. 16 says that basically Allison's alleging that since the entry of the party's final prior order, which means their divorce decree, it appears, though, that defendant JP's mental health has increasingly deteriorated and he has exhibited behavioral patterns that are erratic and irrational. At times, he has forgone in designated periods of visitation based upon his own assertions and not being mentally well enough for the children to be in his care. These are all things that Allison filed. And by the way, she was granted this order. 17, in order to the foregoing, well, let me fast forward to that. That basically says defendant has used the joint custodial designation of parties, which is i.e. duty to consult regarding the children, as a mechanism to harass, threaten, and control the plaintiff, meaning Allison. As a result, the parties are not able to effectively communicate or co-parent in a manner necessary to share joint custody of the minor children, and plaintiff alleges it would be detrimental to the safety, welfare, and emotional health of both the plaintiff and minor children to continue sharing joint custody. Okay, so that's what we had just on that one page. Now, going to the second page, 19, plaintiff further alleges that based upon information and belief that since their initial order, defendant has failed to seek treatment for his deviant, I don't know what you can say on YouTube or his TikTok, but his deviant adult-type addictions, is how we'll say that, and behaviors which he admittedly confessed to both plaintiff and former elders of his church, and it gives a list of former affidavit and a file number from 2015. Based upon information and belief, defendant Allison has continued to engage JP has continued to engage in deviant S behaviors and has exposed the party's minor children to an immoral and unsafe environment. Number 20, in addition to the foregoing, he has also exposed the minor children to his adulterous misconduct with his paramour, meaning the person he's cheating with, and repeatedly involved both the plaintiff, Allison, and the minor children in his marital difficulties. We're going to talk about this, guys. I'm just going to run through it and we're going to chat about it. Okay? Plaintiff further contends, somebody asking about the date on it. This was like last week for the person asking who, I just saw something asking about the date on TikTok. This was last week. 21 is since the final order, the current wife of defendant, Micah Miller, was recently found deceased. The tragic facts and circumstances of which have become a major focus of social media, local, and national news. Against the objections of plaintiff, Allison, the defendant, JP, has discussed this matter with the children, and plaintiff believes, given the totality of the circumstances, placing the children in the care of defendant would place them in imminent danger and not be in their best interest. He also says on 22, but we'll get that one in a second. Let me just take a moment real quick and talk about this. This is a lot of big allegations that she's throwing out here, and it's also connecting the dots to a lot of the things that we have heard based on other accusations against J.P. Miller, and this just kind of adds just another view to it, so to speak. So, again, we'll chat about it a little bit more here in a moment. But, guys, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. This is all some heavy stuff. So for 22, the first part says, which kind of got cut off on YouTube, but it says, plaintiff further alleges that prior to the death of Micah Miller, she confided in plaintiff, sharing intimate details regarding the behaviors of defendant JP and concerns regarding the safety of the minor children while in the care of JP. Allison contends that until the time of Micah Miller's death, she provided a safety net for the children during their periods of visitation with JP, and based upon her recent tragic death, that is no longer possible. So what it seems from this is that JP's ex-wife Allison and Micah had some type of relationship, camaraderie, maybe even dare I say friendship, where she was confiding things in her and seeking advice and seeking information and support through Allison. She provided a safety net for the kids. And apparently Allison trusted Micah enough to know that, hey, as long as Micah's there, I don't really have as much to worry about with JP. That is what this is saying in those paragraphs. And that's huge, guys. Absolutely huge. And that's going to play into the call I'm going to play for y'all here in a few minutes. Because they were having a relationship. They were talking. Which, I don't know how common that is for a current wife and an ex-wife to have that type of communication. So again, as I said at the beginning of this show, I was raised in a very toxic environment. My parents have probably just as many of court documents from back in the 80s and 90s against them as these two against each other. My mom had my dad thrown in jail multiple times. It was not a cohesive co-parenting experience, and we were all, my brother and I, put in the middle of it. So, I understand what she's saying with this, and this is just me giving you a little bit of a glimpse into my childhood. But, it's not good when your mom tells you that, hey, I bought a firearm because of your dad, and your dad says the same thing, and police are hauling your father off in cuffs because he was 30 minutes late dropping you off because of traffic. That's all stuff that I experienced firsthand, and this isn't about me, but I'm just saying that I understand what she's going through here. So let me go to the next page here. Oh, sorry, we're also on the page. There we go. So 23, based on the foregoing, plaintiff, meaning Allison, alleges that until such time as the defendant undergoes a full and complete psychological and parental fitness evaluation and follows all recommendations resulting therefrom, and a guardian can be appointed to investigate this matter and protect the best interests of the minor children, the defendant's periods of visitation and contact with the minor children should be suspended to protect the best interests of the children, and request that the court issue an order granting this relief, both temporarily and permanently. So what she's saying here is like, hey, I'm not saying that you can't ever see your kids. I'm saying that you need to get evaluated for psychological evaluation, a parental fitness evaluation, and then, let's have a guardian. So she's not saying you can't ever see your kids again. She's saying there's some stuff going on, some ish going on, as Pascal would say. And, you shouldn't see the kids while all this is going on. It's not safe for them. I mean, even JP said, if you watch the live, and if you haven't seen it, it's posted up on YouTube, everybody. If you're on TikTok, the interview that he did with Just Me, it's 16 minutes. It's posted on TikTok as well. You can watch it. But even JP said with that he's become a hermit. He's a very outgoing person. This is according to him. He's a very outgoing person. He's become a hermit. He said it. He basically said that it sucks because he likes going out. The only reason he would be a hermit is because he feels he might not be safe going out. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on with that. And then 24, based upon the foregoing, plaintiff, meaning JP, Allison contends that it would be in the best interest of the minor children to modify the custody and visitation provisions of the parties prior final order, meaning like let's modify what we've already have there, and grant plaintiff sole custody of the parties' minor children and suspend any further contact or visitation between them and the defendant, again until he undergoes a complete psychological and parental fitness evaluation. This is continuing on. I know it's a repeat, but it's literally the next part. And following all the recommendations resulting therefrom. Okay? So I'm going to fast forward through, and again, I'm going to put all of these on. I'm going to put all of these on Instagram for anybody who is wanting to see them in their entirety after I'm off the stream. But let's go with 9 real quick. Page 9. So I actually need to go up to 8 real quick. Hold on. Bear with me a second. Well, actually, let me go. Let me go back a little bit more. So there's a lot of the stuff that I fast forward is basically about changing the agreement for, JP's. Let me go to 8 actually. That JP's income has changed, financial situations have changed substantially, and so she, is asking for an increase of basically in child support and alimony. That's kind of what that's about. But if you go to the end of page 8, it also says plaintiff is seeking an order from court prohibiting defendant from degrading plaintiff, meaning from JP from degrading Allison while in the presence of their children, or allowing any third party to do the same. Basically, like nobody should be talking smack about Allison in front of the kids. Like nobody, not JP, not anybody. Which indicates that that's been an issue, either currently or in the past. She's also asking that the court prohibit JP from discussing this litigation or any other legal proceedings involving him while in the presence of the minor children. She's also saying on number 35, she's seeking an order from the court restraining the defendant, JP, from exposing the minor children to dangerous, immoral, or unhealthy environments, the abuse of alcohol, illegal drugs, smoking, the abuse of prescription medications. They're also, this one's big, guys, 36. She's also seeking an order restraining the defendant from exposing the children to their paternal grandfather, Wayne Miller, in any capacity. I haven't had a chance to do anything on Wayne Miller yet. I mean, that's a different rabbit hole altogether because he can be a whole video in and of himself. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing one or not. I don't know how relevant that is to Mica, but I think that there is a chance that it could happen. I haven't written it off. But that's a whole different rabbit hole. And if you want to go down that one, you can do searches for Wayne Miller, JP's father. Now, that being said, I believe that's why Allison is asking the court to, restrain the defendant, JP, from exposing them to him, to the grandfather. She's also asking the court to prevent JP from coming to her residence, place of employment, or person, and from abusing, harming, harassing, communicating, threatening, or otherwise interfering with Allison or members of her family in any manner whatsoever, except in regards to the minor children in the manner specifically requested within these documents, including in person, electronically, or throughout third parties. Basically, I don't want to talk to you unless it's about the kids and only about the kids. But I'm hoping to have full custody of the kids, so you probably won't need to talk to me that much then. That's what this is saying. All right. 38 is plaintiff is seeking. Basically, communication should be limited solely to issues concerning minor children and should only occur through Our Family Winner, which is a parenting app. Further issuing an order strictly prohibiting any other form of contact, including but not limited to electronically, in person, or through third parties. Again, basically what she's saying is you can talk to me only about the kids and it needs to go through this app. That's it. That's it. So this is a lot, guys. This is a lot of stuff. And again, I'm going to put these pages up on my Instagram for anybody who wants to see that. Now, before I go real quick to the next thing, I'm gonna steal a page out of Pascal's book, and I am going to just throw up one of these super chats on the thing. We have a new member, so we're gonna just thank you for that. Thank you for being a new member. Appreciate that. I appreciate your support of the content. Truly, thank you for doing that. Amazing. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is, where did it go? There's a video. Is this the video? Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get this pulled back up. So this came out a few minutes ago.
Explosive affidavit filed last week. The ex-wife.
All right, so I'm going to put this thing up here, if I can get it to get up here. Did we get another new member while I was doing that? Well, thank you, Kendra. We're going to do that too. Appreciate you. Trying to get this thing up here, and then I have a guest that's going to come on after this. But thank you so much, Kendra. Appreciate you. Let me see. I'm trying to get this thing back on here, but it is challenging with me right now. I'm having to look around my own camera. Open this up. All right. Let's add this to the stage real quick. I'm going to fast forward to about 45 seconds. So this came from Fitz News and was posted by Kyler, not Tyler. And I'm going to shut up here in a minute and let you listen to this voicemail. Basically, just to give you a little bit of background on this voicemail, the reason that this...
Micah.
I'm supposed to pause. Is that they were talking, she was seeking advice. And that's what's going on here. All right, so let's play it out. And if you are listening on TikTok, you won't be able to hear it, but again, I'll put it up later.
Micah left for Allison in the months before she died.
Hey, it's Micah. This is my new number. Please don't give it to anybody, but I just wanted to see who your counselor was to help you walk through forgiveness and stuff, and keep your heart right through all of this. Because I don't want to lose myself in this, and I don't want to pursue anything out of anger or vengeance or anything like that. I just want to be free and at peace, keep my soul right. So if you just text me and name me that I'm a good counselor, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
Y'all, she was struggling. You could hear that in her voice. You could hear that she was struggling with all this. Asked for Allison's counselor, asking for peace. Somebody just asked about a transcript, so we can try to do that too. Yeah, people are saying about the volume. So I can't control the volume on it, unfortunately. I had muted myself to let y'all hear it, but that's what I had. I'm sorry. We'll have to redo that then if all y'all could hear was an echo. But she sounded sad. Again, I'll put this on my face or TikTok, or I'll try to redo it again or get a better copy. I'm sorry that y'all couldn't see. But basically what she was saying in this was she sounded very sad in her voice, and she was saying that she basically wanted peace and was asking Allison, JP's ex-wife, about a counselor, and saying, I would appreciate if you could just text me his number. And she just wants peace. That's what she wants. I'm going to put this up here real quick. Somebody just said this. The voicemail is on Fitz News. It's heartbreaking. Also, she sounds nothing like the 911 call. That's what this. So I want to put here. Thank you for saying that's on Fitz News, because yes, it is. I think it's on their YouTube as well, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, you know what? While we're talking about this, let me table the voicemail, because I'm going to bring somebody on real quick that I want to talk about. Let me give a little brief introduction, and we're going to talk about something that happened yesterday. Okay, I'm going to throw this picture up here. The Solid Rock Church police showed up with a bunch of canines. Okay, is my understanding, and there was a protest yesterday there, a peaceful protest from all accounts, and we're going to have somebody come on here in a second. I'll explain to you who it is in a moment, and why I think he's important. Who was there can explain a little more of the protest, but again, y'all know that I'm in contact with JP. When everything went down, I sent him a picture of the thing, and said, hey, I don't know if you saw this. This was posted by Robbie Harvey. I believe, and I'm going to say this before I say anything else, I believe that when Robbie Harvey posts, it is factual. Okay, I don't doubt that. But when I sent to JP, because you just never know, I said, hey, don't know if this is true or not. Robbie just posted it. Wanted to make you aware of it. And he eventually kind of, I guess, found some information or told me. And so I will give you his version of events on this. Before I do, I read the statement at the beginning, but just before I do this with JP, I want to read the statement that I did again, just to remind people, if you're coming here on TikTok right now watching, or you're new here, came in late, whatever the case is. Because again, there's a lot of people who think that that it's wrong for me to give JP any type of platform, that's wrong for me to talk to him. Despite the fact that the night that he came on my platform, Micah's sisters came on and spoke for 2 hours, and both those videos, the full videos, are both on my YouTube. Okay? But there's a lot of people that aren't happy about it, and my response to that is that if you're not happy about it, you don't understand journalism. Okay? And I know that sounds kind of mean, but that's the case. And when I was on Pascal earlier today, it was like saying if somebody wanted to interview Osama bin Laden, he was willing to sit down with you. Yes, people would go do that. I would have gone and done that because it's important. So I'm going to read the statement, then I'm going to get into what JP said, and then I'm going to bring the iPhone guru / Myrtle Beach strip on, because I love this guy, and I asked him to come on pretty last minute, so I appreciate him. But before I do that, let me just read this one more time. It's short. In journalism, it's crucial to maintain fairness, accuracy, and balance in reporting. This means it's important to make sure This means it's important to make sure to make it a point to speak with all relevant parties where possible, including those individuals involved in the story who may be perceived negatively. Engaging with the subject of the investigation or person of interest helps provide a comprehensive view of the situation. It ensures that our reporting is based on a complete and accurate information, adds necessary context and nuance, and upholds our ethical responsibility to seek truth. By doing so, we enhance the credibility of our work and ensure that the public receives a well-rounded understanding of complex issues. It is about fair and just, giving everyone a chance to share their side of the story and ensuring that you guys, the audience, is fully informed. Now, with that said, and people are saying, well, it's not accurate, JP's lying, whatever. That is for you to decide. I have my opinions too, y'all. I've not been, whatever about it. But at the end of the day, you can make the decision on what JP has to say, but he still deserves a neutral environment. He still deserves a neutral environment in order to present his version of the events. Because at this point, we've seen, obviously, the things in writing, black and white. We've seen, stuff from Micah's family. And there's not been a lot out there from JP. And here's the thing, if you don't want to hear him, totally fine. Then don't listen to him. You don't have to. But he's still, having his side out there adds a lot more context and a lot more clues to this overall story. So that being said, let's talk about that real quick. So I'm going to read what JP had said to me regarding this, and then I'm going to bring on our friend, the iPhone guru. Okay. So here's what he said. And I'm going to read it verbatim with making just one edit. I'm not going to mention the name. He named specific names. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get sued. he said, I'm told police showed up. This is from JP directly. I'm told police showed up because one of the protesters, a person who is a party favor dealer, is what we'll call him. Party favors, rugs, whatever you want to say, who cons old ladies into putting him in their will, did something stupid that caused police to worry about my safety. I asked him if it was okay if I shared that. He said, totally up to you. This is just what he was told. He said he knew this individual from over a decade ago when he was dealing party favors. He said he tried to help him, but I'm told he's not the same person. He said, maybe I should reach out to this individual's ex-wife, who is Micah's mother-in-law. So he said a little bit more, but before I get to that, let me bring on the iPhone guru. Real quick. Hey, man, how are you doing?
How's it going, man?
Good. I appreciate you coming on today with this. So let me, guys, give you a little bit of background on the iPhone guru. So the iPhone guru, if he walks out of his front door, and he's probably going to show us, but if he walks out of his front door, he can see JP's driveway. Okay? He can see JP's house. Like he's pointing at it right now on his phone. Okay? That's it. I can't, reach into his thing, but that's it. He's not a true crime creator, but he's found himself in the unique, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, by the way. He has found himself in the unique position where he's able to kind of walk around, show the goings on. See, he's shown JP being served. A few other things. He was also at the protest yesterday, which is something that he's going to talk about, and a few other things. But yeah, that's where he was. And I would encourage you following him. His content has been phenomenal on this. His coverage has been phenomenal. And if it wasn't for him, JP wouldn't have come on the live, because JP had started to text him. We don't know exactly how he got his number, but he owns a business there, so his number's somewhere. But he got his information. It was texting him. And at one point the other night when I was on with Robbie Harvey and him in Myrtle Beach Strip, he basically asked me, he's like, would you want to come on a live? Talking to JP, would you want to come on a live with Robbie Harvey and Justin on TikTok? And his response initially was that, and it's been posted all over, so this is no secret, but that every news outlet basically in the nation kind of wants him. And he said, I'll give you a better idea. He's like, why don't we do a Q&A? You come over and I'll ask you a question and you can ask me a question. And so, you took that. I'm going to let you talk, I promise. You took that as an opportunity and you went down there. And that night we were talking to show the house. And he came out and talked to us. And he said he wouldn't do it with Robbie Harvey on the live. So Robbie jumped off. And he went back, and we had about a 16-ish minute interview with him. So that's kind of the background on you, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
So I told you what JP had said about the protest. You said that you have either perhaps a little bit more information or different information. Would you want to share with that?
Yeah, so I don't want to give his name out, but I may make a TikTok here about it. Someone that was in my live day made a statement about his mother's plaque being inside the building and him needing to go get it. And I made the statement that he could not go onto the property because they had a no trespassing sign there. So he decided, okay, fine, whatever. Well, the police were called a few hours later about some suspicious activity at the church. And then later on, this individual posted on his TikTok that plaque that was hanging inside of the place in a fire pit being burnt. So I'm not sure. I can't say one way or another. That's the reason the police were there. But that plaque is no longer in the church, and he made that statement on my live, and he posted a video of it on his TikTok of that plaque that was inside the church burning in his fire pit.
So I had to mute myself because apparently you're echoing. I'll mute you real quick while I'm talking so we can try to keep the echo down. I had this issue with Pascal's show earlier today, so it must be me. So, to your understanding, that's why the police were called. Is that correct?
That's my assumption. that's the way I'm taking it, because he made that statement on there. And JP gave me the same answer he gave you about what happened at the church. And when I asked him if it was that certain individual, he said yes. And I asked him if he broke into the, no comment in the text.
Gotcha. He wasn't wanting to incriminate himself. All right. Well, that's interesting. Talk to us a little bit about, because you were at the protest, I believe, yesterday. Talk to us a little bit about what that was like. How was the protest?
There wasn't that many people there. Of course, there were probably just as many protesters there as there was members of the church there. And then JP showed up about 20 minutes late for service. He parked in the back and he ran along the side of the building so nobody could videotape him, and ran into the back. And then when he went to leave about 30 minutes later, he ran back out to his truck the same way, and then drove out through the grass out the back side to get out of the way from the church so nobody could videotape him.
Gotcha. And a lot of people are asking, what was on the plaque, or what kind of plaque? What was the plaque about?
Something dedicating something to that person's mother. I don't want to say the guy's name yet, because I don't want to get in trouble or whatever. But it was a dedication to his mother, and it was a plaque on the inside of the building. He also stated that his name is engraved in the concrete there. If that gives, wipe that off the concrete, wipe that off the concrete, and go.
You broke up a little bit there, but I think we got it. And I'll go ahead and just say this too. The name that you have shared with me is the same name. Well, I mean, if you and I got the same text, you know this. But the name that you shared with me, and I know he gave permission to use the name. I'm just not at a point where I'm comfortable doing that because I haven't spoken to that individual. But that individual, I got the same name that you did, basically.
Yeah, I text that individual to see if I can put his name out there, and he hasn't responded back. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. So I'm trying to move them. I'm trying to mute to keep the echo low. I'm trying to go back and forth on mute. No, I got all that. That makes sense. So obviously, I don't keep going back and forth. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm obviously happy to have you here as long as you want to be on here. But is there anything else that you want to add?
Yes, as a matter of fact, JLR posted on YouTube earlier about a police report about a female waving a gun at him, and he gave the TikTok name the iPhone Guru. Well, he knew that my first name is a female name, so he thought it was a girl, so he made a false police report saying that he come to my apartment, and that when he come to my apartment to confront me about videotaping him, well, the only other person that lives here is my daughter, and she was in Miami Beach, Florida for her birthday. So it couldn't have been her. And I have video proof saying that I wasn't even here. And he didn't come to my door. This is my place. There's a camera here. There's a Ring doorbell camera here. And right here is another camera. So anybody walks up to my door, I get a notification, it gets recorded. None of that stuff happened. I also have another channel where I was live at Atlantic Beach Bike Fest up in North Myrtle Beach. During that whole time, it's got timestamps on it, how long I was there. So he made a false police report. I contacted Horry County Police Department to see if I could get him charged with filing a false police report and I got recordings of that too. And they're basically saying that paper was just a call. There was not actually a report done. So there's nothing to be able to charge him with on it. So I just wanted to put that out there. That never happened. I wasn't even here. I was up in North Myrtle Beach. I got video proof of that. Probably make a TikTok about all of it here shortly. But it wasn't me. He was just falsifying the police report to try to get me in trouble.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying that, what happened there. And obviously, if you have any of the documents that you want to send me or you want to make the video, I'll repost it. Or if you want to send me stuff, I'll make a video on it as well. Because obviously, I know how important it is, how important reputation is. So yeah, just if you want to, that offer stands.
All right, I appreciate it, because I didn't know anything about that until I was in someone's live earlier today, and they were saying, "Oh, we heard that you police came and talked to you because JR called the police. I mean, JP called the police on you." I'm like, no, I had no idea what they were saying until I read the report. But they're saying it wasn't a police report; it was just a call for service. So there's no report done on it. So I can't charge him with filing a false police report.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So yeah, it's I mean, nothing's going to happen from it, so that's probably why they're, this is between JP and between Micah. I mean, there were so many police reports filed. I got a whole folder of them that I still need to go through because there's a lot of new indication or new information, new documents we haven't seen yet that I was sent via a FOIA request. And yeah, it's just insane how much paperwork is involved with these two.
All right, well, I'm going to get off here. Thank you for having me on so I can clear up some things. And you have a good day.
All right, you as well, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for coming on. All right, guys. So appreciate him coming on to the stream and sharing a little bit of that information. Before I get into the next couple things, we had a couple, it looks like a couple more members that I want to make sure that we shout out. And then I'm going to talk about something that happened over the last couple days. And then we will get into the stuff that y'all have not heard regarding JP. So first, real quick, we got a few new members. Thank you again so much for supporting the content. We definitely appreciate it. Definitely. So thank you, Jennifer, for helping support and being a member. Sorry, I pressed the right buttons. You too, Sheena. We'll just keep it going. And you know what, Laura, appreciate you as well. We're just going to give you an air horn. Just, thank you guys so much for supporting. I definitely appreciate it. So the next thing that I do want to talk about on this is something that came from JLR. Okay, so JLR and I would consider us, we're definitely in the same space. I would just go as far as to say that we're friends. We don't know each other incredibly well, but we definitely talk a fair bit and share some information and stuff. So I would consider him a friend. That being said, I want to share something that JP did that's really kind of interesting, and I feel that it's important to discuss for a couple reasons, really. Let me get this thing up to the stage here real quick. So JLR shared this earlier today, and I'm just going to show his whole thing to give him full credit. Pastor John Paul Miller was seen yesterday driving a DeLorean around the neighborhood and then walking around in a Spider-Man costume head to toe. What is going on here? Okay, so here's why I wanted to kind of have this discussion about this. Okay, so y'all, DeLoreans are a rare car. Okay? If you are new here, you might not know. For those of you who don't know what a DeLorean is, it's the Back to the Future car. In the event that still doesn't help you, let me just kind of pull one up real quick to show you. Give me 1 second here. There it is. All right, this is, assuming it didn't. I'm just really struggling apparently with, I accept all my cookies first. There we go. All right. So for those of y'all who don't know what it is, that is a DeLorean, okay? This site is so spammy. This is a DeLorean, all right? It's a very rare car. There were 9,000 made for the last 15 or so years. I've heard there's about 6,500 of them or so left. I would imagine that number is probably closer to 4,500 to 5,000, and that's not including those which have been converted to Back to the Future replicas. Now, why am I bringing up and spending so much time on this car? Okay? Well, because I own a DeLorean. That's why. And immediately when this came out, people started doing the math. I mean, hell, I'd have done the same math, to be very honest with you. A lot of people started doing the math thinking, wait, Justin's been talking to JP. Justin owns a DeLorean. He must be down there giving him the car. Okay? Here's what I can tell you about my weekend. And there's been a lot of people that have confirmed this. I was at CrimeCon this weekend in Nashville, where I live. You can see I'm in the same studio that I'm always in. I'm at home in Nashville. My DeLorean is tucked safely in the garage and hasn't moved at all this weekend. Okay? Mr. Savard, I would love to speak with you on or off the record if you wanted to reach out to me. If you want to, please go, just on TikTok.com, you can get to my email, but would love to chat with you if you're okay with that. So, anyways, mine is tucked safely in the garage. It is a 41-year-old car. Myrtle Beach is 9 to 10 hours away from me. My car has 28,000 miles on it. So I'm not going to get in that car and drive it 20 hours round trip to go take it for JP Miller to look at it. Okay? I just want to make sure that I put this out there very clearly. I was on Pascal's show earlier today, who Pascal was telling people, as he should, because we hung out during CrimeCon, that I was with him. Joe Petito, Tara Petito, Nikki and Jim Schmidt, hung out with them. I hung out with Ashley Banfield at I sent a text at 1 a.m. to my wife, look who I'm with. There's Ashley Banfield sitting here at CrimeCon. By the way, fun fact, I will be on Ashley Banfield tonight, just for anybody who wants to know. I will be on News Nation tonight on Banfield, for anybody who's interested in that. Should have said that at the beginning of the show. But I want to make sure that y'all are aware of that. So I've heard since then that apparently JP, it's one of the 29 cars for the church. Somebody just said in the comments. Let me see what they said here real quick. Somebody was saying that I cannot find it, but somebody was basically saying that apparently he said that he ordered one, it was just delivered, but just wanted to make sure. I haven't seen pictures of the car, but if I saw pictures of the car, I could easily compare it to my own. My point is that I just want to make sure that that's out there, because I'm going to give JP the benefit of the doubt on this. It's a very interesting coincidence, because I just used the car a few days ago to make an affiliate video on TikTok. And anyways, I know somebody says that you don't need to justify. I just feel like I do. But yeah. Anyways, that's what I want to say about that. Now, with that said, I want to go back real quick to what JP had said after this. Okay, again, this is me just repeating verbatim what he said and what he said that I could share, basically. So talking about the protest yesterday, specifically the protest, not even the police. He said it was really sad to see some former church members. This is stuff, by the way, that nobody else has heard at this point. This is all brand new. Nobody has heard this. You're hearing it here for the first time, if you're listening to this. But here's what he said. It was really sad to see some former church members, one in particular, who played in the band and did illegal party favors regularly, whom I supported him at church in spite of his bad habits, protesting against people who loved him enough to look past his addiction. He yelled at people who loved him and people who he claimed to love. They know we are disciples of Jesus by our love, not by our yelling or rudeness or accusations. Love. Also, the way you bring justice is not by trying to hurt someone or hurt their business. That's literally abusing someone and doing the very thing you're upset about. If I set up a protest against the people's businesses who I think have done something wrong, we just keep going back and forth, LOL. I want justice for Mica. This part's important. I want justice for Mica more than anyone else, and I'm working hard to get it, not by protesting or wasting time online, but by getting factual evidence as to why my wife died. This is what JP said. This is verbatim. Okay? These are not my words. They're not altered. They're not edited. Okay? Just want y'all to be aware. I just want you to be aware. The next thing that I'm going to share with you again has not been told at all. You guys are going to find this very interesting. Okay? I think you're going to find this very interesting, at least. Let me give you a little bit of context before I just read this. I have offered JP, and there's somebody in the comments here saying that they're JP, but there's one also on Pascal saying that he was JP. It could be a troll account, could be real. Most likely a troll. The first one was a troll. But the context of this was, again, I would like to provide a neutral space for JP to talk. One where he's not being attacked, not being accused, just a neutral space for him to share the information that he wants to share. And I feel like that is important to this case because it could provide insight one way or the other as to what might have happened or to some of the events leading up. Okay? That being said, I told him that I would like to have him on for an interview. He said that he would have to talk to his lawyers, and I basically said, I'll give you a layup. I will send you the questions beforehand. You can nix whatever questions that you don't want. You can add any questions you would like me to ask. You can then run them by your attorney. Okay? You can then run them by your attorney. And then we won't deviate from that. You can just talk about what you want to talk about. And he said he would pray on it. And that's what he's going to do. But he's offered that because, again, you can stand JP, you can hate JP, you can feel indifferent about JP. It doesn't mean that he's still one of the parties involved in this, and he's still, I for one, would like to hear his story. That being said, so here's what he said, basically after a lot of those discussions, or part of that discussion. He said, I would love to talk, love all in caps, would love to talk and can't wait to get the green light. Green light meaning from his lawyers, by the way. I'm trusting my lawyers right now. We even put in a call to the FBI asking them to please interview me and investigate every area of my life. Once they do that, and then I talk, I have even more proof that I'm clean. My lawyers are incredibly smart. That's what he said. Okay? That is what he said. Kiwiki's saying that on YouTube. He's in the chat. Again, I'm not sure if he is the real JP Miller or not. Okay? Again, in the previous video with Pascal, previous show, there was a JP Miller in there that wasn't JP Miller. In fact, it even had a different avatar or a different color, whatever. So if it's real, he'll text me and let me know, and if it's not, he won't. That's how that'll go. That being said, that's basically what we have today. That is the show. Look, we got a super chat though. I just want to see. Oh, thank you so much. I didn't see that even come in. Let me just kind of do that real quick. Can I show that? Oh, we got a new member too. Can I show this sticker? I don't know how to. I am terrible at this, guys. Well, there was a super chat, so I appreciate you. Maybe I have to go in here to do it. There we go. Thank you so much, Lucia. I appreciate you very, very much. You're awesome. And as well as a new member, Get Your Goat. I love your screen name. That's pretty awesome. Again, thank you so much. I totally and absolutely appreciate y'all's support with this. So all that being said, the offers, whether it's the real JP or not that's in here, whether you're watching, if he's watching it or does watch this, the offer stands. If you want a neutral platform where we can softball you the questions, I am glad to do that. I will give you that. We will stay very neutral as we have throughout the conversations that we've had via text, throughout the conversation that we had the other night on TikTok. I'll give that to you. Just, it's up to you to share whatever stories you want. You can bring whatever proof you want. And yeah. I think we just got another member a second ago. We did. So Rebecca, thank you real quick as well. But that's all I got for today, guys. That's what I got for right now. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all being here. But that's pretty much the show for today. And for anybody who's watching this later, I saw somebody ask in the chat, will this be saved? Anytime I do a show here, it is automatically saved on YouTube for anybody to go back and watch it. Appreciate y'all's, again, support. Appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate y'all listening, your understanding, and trying to find truth and justice for Micah. That is the most important thing. This case, no matter who the players are, what the players might have done. In fact, I'm going to scroll this real quick while we're doing this, okay? I know the music doesn't really help with this. I'm going to scroll the domestic violence hotline for anybody in this situation. But this case, no matter how you look at it, it underscores the importance of domestic violence awareness, of suicide awareness, of so many things. Toxic Christianity, toxic, culture within the church. Just so many things. It's so very important to bring awareness to all of these subjects, and no matter how you look at it, this case does do that, regardless how the outcome of this plays out. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys soon. Have a good one.